stays in 6th place.
Another look at Wade van Niekerk. Everyone was super excited to see that 44.58 season's best. He was saying, go away, I've got to change my shorts, I think. Can you please turn the camera around? I need to get my shorts on. Thank you very much, Wade van Niekerk. Very respectful of you. It's a family show. Kevin Borlée caught there, just trying to do his trousers without the... so that you get, especially on a day like this, it's so hot and sweaty warming up. You can see the appeal there to change your shorts. Michael Norman, disappointing 5th in Tokyo. Semi-final in Doha was the favourite for both of those championships. Can Michael Norman of the US convert his pre-event ranking into a gold medal in the men's 400 metres? First of 3 semi-finals in the men's 400, same as the women. First 2 of each heat qualify automatically, and then another 2 on time. We're going to see another athlete from the Dominican Republic in lane 8. Lidio Feliz will have seen his teammates Kofil and Paulino safely navigate their heats on the women's side. Can he do the same? He was the lead-off runner for the gold medal quartet in the mixed relay on the opening day of the championships. Here's another South African in good form. Nine was 3rd in the Paris Diamond League. He is the national champion for this year. Lane 6 is the American national champion, Michael Norman. #1 fastest time in the world this year. Broke Michael Johnson's Prefontaine Diamond League record to hit that mark. Could he have half an eye on Michael Johnson's championship record this week unfolds? New national record holder for Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Matthew Hudson-Smith. Looked good in his heat, ran a really hard 300 metres and then eased off, won by a country mile. Lane 4 will be Dylan Borlée. Just saw his older brother getting himself sorted out to compete in the 3rd heat. Good season, personal best in Bern a few weeks ago. Lane 3 will be Christopher Taylor of Jamaica. He was 6th in Tokyo in a personal best time of 44.79. Lane 2 will be Alex Beck of Australia. His best result of the season will be 4th in the Continental Tour event in Tokyo a few weeks ago. Completing the lineup in lane 1 is Julian Walsh. He got lane 1 in his heat as well. Japanese mum, Jamaican dad. Says Usain Bolt is his hero. Lane 1 treated him all right in the heats. Let's hope it does the same here in the semi-final. So Walsh in 1, Beck in 2, Taylor in 3, Borlée in 4. Matthew Hudson-Smith takes lane 5. Michael Norman, fastest in the season so far, in lane 6. Nine in 7, and Feliz in 8. Cleanly despite that crowd noise. So Michael Norman with the trademark white headband there in lane 6. At the moment he's managing to pull away from Great Britain's Matthew Hudson-Smith a tiny bit. Matthew Hudson-Smith blasted through the first 300 metres in his heat yesterday. He's not doing the same here, but Michael Norman full of running. He's up on Nine to his outside and Feliz already. But here comes Matt Hudson-Smith. There was a bit of an injection in pace for the British athlete as he neared the halfway mark. Matthew Hudson-Smith putting pressure on Mike Norman as they move into the final 100 metres. Just first 2 will qualify automatically. Matthew Hudson-Smith, he's pushing hard. We normally see him easing up in the final 100 metres, but Matthew Hudson-Smith showing Mike Norman and the USA what he's got in the tank. Michael Norman pushed all the way to the line, 44.3. He does get the win ahead of Matt Hudson-Smith, and they share a smile. I think Mike Norman might have hoped to have it a little bit easier than that in this heat. Both men perhaps a little bit kind of relaxed through the first 200 metres. Hudson-Smith just lifting. I've spoken about this a few times in this season. Matt Hudson-Smith likes to work on different parts of his race, him and his coach, piecing them together to find a kind of final ideal race. And Matt Hudson-Smith, almost running an opposite race than we saw in the heats. And then great to see the British athlete putting the pressure on the pre-race favourite Michael Norman into the final 100 metres.
Well, do you know what? I'm not sure that Matthew Hudson-Smith didn't have a little bit more to give there. Mike Norman had a target. It's always great to have somebody half a metre in front of you. Certainly Norman set off the quickest, and because he was outside the Briton, it meant that Hudson-Smith had somebody to target through the first 300. But round the second bend, Hudson-Smith came into the straight with what? About a 1 metre lead, having given so much around that second bend. And then Norman here, rocking from side to side, trying to hold off Matt Hudson-Smith, who holds his form well, right up on his toes, Hudson-Smith. Lovely looking runner. They both are beautiful performers. They're a long way ahead of third place Taylor there in lane 3 for Jamaica. And the time's impressive, and that from Hudson-Smith, only a couple of clicks outside his British record.
European record is only a shade under Matt Hudson-Smith's new British record as well. I suddenly thought 44.3, with Michael Norman's running 43 seconds this year, so I thought 44.3 is not that good. Hang on a minute, Matt Hudson-Smith is only a few.
So, semi-final 2 of the men's 400 metres then. We know that the conditions are pretty much perfect for sprinters. Hot and sticky and still, they love it. And how the times reflected that in the first semi-final. Mike Norman 44.30 to Matthew Hudson-Smith 44.38, who will go down there under 45 seconds in this one. Let's have a look at the athletes. Nathan Allen of Jamaica, 44.1 athlete at his best, hasn't broken 45 seconds this year, however. World Championship silver medalist back in 2019 in both long relays, mixed and the men's. Alexander Doom, world indoor gold medalist in the 4x400 metres for Belgium back in Belgrade in March. In lane 6, Muzala Samukonga, the African champion in Mauritius, just some 3 or 4 weeks ago. 45.21 though, his best, that was his time in Mauritius. Mike Cherry goes in 5. Boy, do they love their athletes in those USA colours. World champion in the 4x400 metres back in 2019, and in the mixed relay for him too, Cherry in 4. In 5, there's Bayapo Ndori of Botswana. Second in the Botswana 200 recently, and a personal best, just sharpened up with that. He's a 44.8 performer. Kirani James, well, this man's a living legend, the Olympic champion in London 2012, and he went on to take a silver in Rio and then a bronze last year in Tokyo. He has the set, says Kirani James, world champion over 400 back in 2011 in Daegu. I know another athlete who got a silver medal in Daegu. Hannah, who was that? I just can't remember. Christopher O'Donnell goes in 2 for Ireland. Ex-football player O'Donnell will need to improve on his 45.26, which he achieved recently in Madrid with a second place, O'Donnell, but everything to run for. And Fuga Sato, the Japanese champion, on the inside there in lane 1. He too is quite a long way shy of having ever broken 45 seconds. He's a 45.4 performer. Well, we know the first 2 who have definitely gone through from the first semi-final. Of course, Mike Norman and Matthew Hudson-Smith. Chris Taylor, 44.97 for Jamaica. That was a pretty impressive third place time. Who will join them from this one? Kirani James in 3 for Grenada. He likes to start pretty quickly too, does Kirani James. There he's left a picture in the red shorts. Gone off very quickly indeed around this first bend. He's already closing up on Ndori of Botswana. Into the back straight, and that huge raking stride of Kirani James. He's a big fella, about 6'2", very powerfully built. Relatively steady though, the second 100 for Kirani James goes into the bend. This is where we expect him to maintain his form well. Cherry's got some running to do just yet for the USA. There he is in lane 5. All abreast there, virtually all abreast with 120 to go. Going well as the Botswanan, Bayapo Ndori. He's rallied here through the second half. He's challenging Kirani James. Kirani James looking across, just doing enough. Great running out in 6 by Samukonga of Zambia. But Kirani James takes it 44.74. All smiles, he enjoyed that one. Doesn't look, frankly, like he really had to stretch himself too much there. Nowhere near as quick as Mike Norman and Hudson-Smith. They had a right old ding-dong, didn't they, in the first semi? Mike Norman coming out on top, but they have got 48 hours through to the finals, so they can afford to give just about everything in these second round races, these semis. That's very impressive there, Kirani James. A nice steady race, I think, Hannah. I always felt he was in control and there was a bit more in reserve.
I do, and I was impressed by Undori as well. He was the fastest qualifier in the heats. He was out in lane 8 in that race and just ran his heart out to a new personal best, and he's really done the same. Then you can see him staggering off. That's what happens if you ask your body to do something it's never done before 2 rounds in a row. But Undori just looked inspired in the last 70 metres. When Kirani James came up on his shoulder, it was 150 metres into the race, he reacted then. I thought, oh, just hold your nerve. Leapo Undori for Botswana coming out second place. Personal best for Samu Conga. 4th place Michael Cherry. Sometimes you can look lethargic when you're full of nerves like that. You want to be laughing and joking, and Wade van Niekerk, for me, looking a tiny bit stressed. Heats are one thing. He navigated those heats no problem, but you've got to not whack it up a notch here when you look towards the semi-finals. Alex Haydock-Wilson of Great Britain and Northern Ireland will go in lane 8. Season's best to qualify, also from lane 8. Haydock-Wilson always applies himself to races. Expect that again. Isaac Makwala was 7th in Tokyo. He went out really hard in his heat, put the pressure on everybody else, and then just tried to hold on. Can do the same here. Champion Allison of the USA will go in lane 6. He's number 2 on the world lists with his 43 and 7. Champion Allison in form. Marvin Bonavaccia was the lead runner in their mixed 4x4 silver medal team. Dutch athletes collecting that on their first day. It's a little bit tired for me in the heats a couple of days ago. Wade van Niekerk from South Africa. He is the world record holder. He was 2nd fastest in qualifying. Can he bring the heat here to make the final? Jonathan Jones goes in lane 3, national record holder for Barbados in 400, 800 and 15. Showed all that endurance in the opening round. Lane 2, Kevin Borlée, 3rd Belgium in these semi-finals. Watch out for them as we look towards men's 4x4. It'll be a tough battle for Kevin Borlée to make the world final here. Lane 1 will be Mikhail Litvin from Kazakhstan. He did a season's best of 46 dead to make it into this semi-final.
On your marks.
45.02, the slowest of the non-automatic qualifiers. Mzala Samukonga from Zambia ran personal best. He's sitting in that 2nd non-automatic qualifying spot. Ahead of him is Christopher Taylor of Jamaica, 45.97. So if you want to make it to the final, you've got to be close to 45 seconds. Litvin in 1, Borlée in 2, Jones in 3, Van Niekerk in 4, Bonavaccia 5, Allison 6, Makwala 7, and Haydock-Wilson in 8. Final, semi-final in the men's 400 metres, and that was a fast start from champion Allison of the USA, but not as fast as Wade van Niekerk. Wade van Niekerk will know he has to go flat out here. He's not in world record shape, but what shape is he in? Alex Haydock-Wilson doing well to hold up Isaac Makwala at the moment. Champion Allison blasted through this first 200, but he's going to look over his shoulder and see that the world record holder from South Africa, Wade van Niekerk, is going even faster. Wade van Niekerk is in uncharted territory in the 2022 season. This is his 3rd race. Can he hold it together, or has he gone too hard? Wade van Niekerk starting to tread water. He's under pressure from Jones on his inside, from Allison on the outside. But Wade van Niekerk finds something to hold off the athlete to his inside. Couldn't do anything about champion Allison on the outside. 44.71. And so often you say, what do we learn in the heats? And I think we learned an awful lot there. Wade van Niekerk ran extremely positively, and he fought in that last 40 metres, but he certainly looks vulnerable. Champion Allison left it super late there. USA Championship silver medalist would have been devastated to fail to make this final, but he joins his teammate Michael Norman. The event will take place on Friday. So Wade van Niekerk, did he push it too hard in the first 200? Champion Allison went out hard but slightly more conservatively and came home just that shade ahead of the world record holder.
Well, I was mighty impressed with Van Niekerk there. He might be operating a lot slower than a few years back in Rio, but I tell you what, I was convinced he was going to be caught there and be in third place, but he battled through to hold on for 44.75 for second place. Comes into the straight here, great first 300 for him, just doesn't quite have the legs. Shades of Farholm here, just not quite the finished article, but he's moving well, and maybe that dread from the injury from a game of casual touch rugby a few years back is behind him now. Good running from champion Allison. 44.71 there, just to outdip Van Niekerk, 44.75. Jonathan Jones will go through as the fastest of the non-automatic qualifiers, the Bajan, 44.78. And Christopher Taylor of Jamaica will be the other with a season's best of 44.97. And I was sort of hoping this would happen. Rather conveniently, the 8 through to the final are the 8 that broke 45 seconds. Samukonga, with a personal best of Zambia, is 9th fastest with 45.02.
Confirmed result there. Champion Allison ahead of Wade Van Niekerk. Jonathan Jones in the personal best for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Alex Haydock-Wilson for that British squad. They will be keen to outdo their European compatriots. The Flemish team will be very strong, as will the Dutch team. But those athletes further down the field are going to have to turn their attention to the relay events.